Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 4 of What If Naruto had the most powerful Sharingan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series over Anime King of What If Naruto opened the gate of alchemy and awaken all abilities. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, we start off with a flashback from the past where we got a look at Emiko as Naruto was currently in the war with his sister, as Emiko had her Mangita Sharingan activated already, as she had lost someone close to her while growing up. She was currently with a member of the Inuzaka clan, as she had met him through her friend Tatsumi, an equal friend of Naruto and hers as well, as she was supposed to go take down a small fortress with a small squad, as he had gotten the details from their own commanding officers that it was almost vacant. With them conquering that small piece of land, they will be able to push their forces through and commandeer most of the land that led towards the hidden stone, and Oniki would have no choice but to give up. The both of them wanted the war to come to an end. Even though he did not possess the Mangekyo Sharingan yet, Emiko knew her brother was something to fear because of his Uzumaki blood and his massive chakra reserves along with the Sharingan. Her brother was just something else. Even with her eyes, she wasn't sure that she could stop him in certain scenarios. He was immensely powerful, as she wondered what he would be like if he activated the Mangekyo Sharingan. But little did they know that was the last time they would ever speak. We then skip back to reality as Naruto was in a bar with the members that he knew. Inuichi was there. Shigaku was there as well. Tatsumi was there as she had dragged Naruto along. Kushina and Mikato came after a while, as Choza tried to ease the tension as he started to speak about events and all that. As Kushina knew exactly what Naruto was doing by the way he talked and the way he acted, but she didn't say anything, as the girls ended up going through an eating contest with the hot wings. Afterwards, Mikato, who had came and only drank one cup of sake, she knew that that wasn't her thing. She was a lightweight, an incredibly lightweight. Just one drink, and she was out for the count as Naruto decided to take her home. It was on Kushina's way, so they both decided to walk, as they started to talk as she revealed what he was doing. As he was making them think that yes, he was fine and he was okay, but soon enough he would just push everyone away once again. He was giving them this small chance of showing them that he was okay and they should not worry about him, then he would just close himself off. As she did not visibly tell Minato to take him off missions, she was just concerned about him constantly going on missions, as ninjas usually take a break. As Naruto told her that he was fine, as she saw those look in his eyes, it seems empty. The Naruto that she knew was gone, it seems. The one that she tried to fight for and regain her love in. No matter what she did, his eyes were always so glassy and empty, like there was nothing there looking back at her. As she told him to come to her birthday party, if he missed it, she would literally come and kill him. As Naruto laughed it off, but she told him that she was dead serious. As he told her he would try and make it. So with that, they separated. As Naruto was walking Mikato home, as she was slurring on his shoulder, someone appeared in front of him. As Naruto looked at the person, as it was a man, claiming to be Madara Uchiha. As Naruto turned to walk away, the man told him that he needs help, and that Naruto can regain all that he's lost. as the man seemed to know about Emiko, and not to mention there was a Sharingan swirling in the eye hole of his socket of the mask. As Naruto watched him carefully, but the man did not attack or anything. He just told Naruto that he would come to him when he was ready, and he would realize that his path was the only path of gaining true enlightenment, whatever that meant. With that, the man left. As Naruto started to make his way, unknown to him, he was being watched, as he could feel something at the prick of his senses, but the thing moved. As the root envoy reported back to Danzo. As Danzo was angry, he wanted Naruto out of the picture. Unlike Fukaku, who would do anything that was for the betterment of his clan and even put his clan back in the far backgrounds to make sure that nothing started between the village and his clan, Naruto would not stand for that. It was because of that damn woman, Emiko. As it turns out that her death was not accidental, it was actually planned. And Danzo had a hand in it. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this is begin this new episode. We begin this episode in the past. As Naruto was currently making his way, someone ran beside him. The person had short black hair. He had a scar on his cheek that looked like 3 slashes as they went almost up to his left eye. His name was Inabi and he was Naruto's best friend, as he had basically grew up with Inabi along with his sister as well, who grew him. Inabi had lost both of his parents, but he had his grandmother, so mostly he stayed over at Naruto's house, unknown to his father Kagami or anyone else. His grandmother had gotten sick, but by that time Inabi was in the academy, and Naruto had made sure that he had nothing to worry about, as his grandmother had died. Being the clan head, even though him and his father never got along, Kagami was rather wealthy, as he was the clan head of the Uchiha after all. And Naruto wasn't short on funds, even though the man never really got along with him, and they never really saw eye to eye. That didn't mean that he was neglected when it comes to food or certain things. There was harsh trainings and beatings, but he was always able to get something to eat, even though he didn't know to cook at first. And Emiko had always made sure he had something in his stomach though, as she always took a wonderful meal for him. As Naruto made sure that Inabi got the same treatment as well. As the both of them became best friends through and through, they would literally die for each other, as Naruto had been there for him. As Inabi was very encouraging along with his relationship with Kushina, as he was the one that told Naruto that he should marry her. The girl was a keeper. The both of them were currently making their way, as they were gonna separate, but Naruto had a bad feeling about this. Naruto was different from most Uchihas. Yes, he relied on his Sharingan, but it wasn't his crutch. His Uzumaki heritage helped him a lot. The boosting chakra, and the vitality, and the strength and the power. But right now his senses were telling him that something was off. Inabi saw the look on his face. "What's wrong?" said Inabi as he glanced over towards Naruto. "I got this bad feeling." Inabi slapped him on the shoulder as he ran. "You always have a bad feeling," he said. "No," said Naruto, as Inabi realized he was serious. "Huh? What are you talking about?" he said. "I don't know." "Emiko, perhaps has already reached a rendezvous point. We are currently going at the moment. I feel I should tag along. You were given different orders, Naruto. We were selected for this small mission. It's just a small amount of us because it's not too hard to conquer that small castle, and once we have that, once you're done with your objective, you can come and back us up." "But," said Naruto, as Inabi shook his head, "doing something this risky and stupid on this mission that might change a lot would get you into a lot of problems. Come on, don't you have faith in me and Emiko? And it's not like we're alone. We can do this. You've always had faith in us before. Why stop now?" As Naruto took a breath. "I have this weird feeling," said Naruto, as he really wanted to tag along. With him being there, if there was any surprises, they would have a better chance. But Inabi gave him that look that told him that everything would be fine, as Naruto decided to have trust in his friend. His mission was a simple one. He and his forces were supposed to hit the forces hard at the west to make them pull their attention towards them, but Naruto was sure that his forces could do that without him being there. But he was given the direct order that he must join the West Force and not go along with his sister. As Naruto sighed in defeat, As Inabi gave him a smile. You don't have to worry about anything. You know I got Emiko's back and she's got mine as well. We'll come back unscathed, I can promise you that. And we'll then go and have a drink. As Naruto gave him a smile. Alright then, said Naruto. As he raised his fist at Inabi, bumped fists with him. Let's end this, shall we? As both friends, more like brothers, nodded toward each other as they turned the opposite direction and went off. As Inabi quickly made his way. As he arrived to the rendezvous point. As he arrived to see Emiko as she greeted him with a nod. As there was 5 others there. It was a team of 7, as they should be enough to take care of this group. Him and Emiko, and another Uchiha making 3. There were 2 Inuzakas with them. A member of the Nara clan, and a member of the Akamichi clan. As Emiko arriving as she saw the Nara member arriving last. Didn't you get a Hyuga, she asked. The man shook his head. I was told that they didn't have any to spare. All of them are the front lines. And they say that we should be enough. Emiko frowned at this. As Inabi saw the look on her face. What's wrong? Why wouldn't they give us a Hyuga? Their eyes would be suitable to see in long range to see if there are any more enemies in hiding. Well, remember they are to scout the place. So they must have calculated the numbers. After all, we were told that it wasn't enough. Our job is just to take out the ones that are there and hold the castle until reinforcements arrive. And that shouldn't be long given that you're not so far away. Everything's gonna be fine, Inabi said. As that calmed Emiko down a bit. I spoke to Naruto before I came here. When we get back, we're gonna have a drink. To celebrate us conquering this castle. So what do you say we move? Hey, I'm the leader here, said Emiko. You couldn't give me that, Inabi said. As Emiko chuckled a bit. Come on, she said. As she gave her group the information before they move off. It didn't take them too long. As the Abermi that was with them said notice bugs. There was nothing around. As Emiko paused, raising her hand in confusion. There was nothing? This didn't make any sense. Emiko reached towards her earpiece. As she clicked the earpiece. But there was nothing but static. She gave them the signal to try their earpiece. As they all gave her the same signal back. Static. That confused Emiko. This seemed wrong. Why was your earpiece not working now? As the bug user started to feel something, his eyes went wide. Before he could utter a single word though, they felt the massive buildup of chakra out in the far distance, and they looked out to see. All of their eyes widened when they saw the massive 4-tailed beast rushing towards them. But that did not concern them. What concerned them though was what it had. It was a Biju bomb as the thing came to a stop and launched it. The thing was too wide for them to avert, as Emiko jumped in front of the group as her Mangekyo flared to life. As a yellowish construction came up in front of her, the bones, the ligaments, all the muscles before the skin came on. As the explosion crashed right into a blade. As the thing went off, boom, devastating the ground. The land was blown apart. When the smoke and the dust cleared though, it revealed that Emiko and her group was just fine, given the fact that they were surrounded by the Susanoo. As Inabi activated Sharingan instantly. There are more coming, shouted the Abermi. As when they looked off into the distance, they saw hundreds, possibly thousands, of members rushing towards them. And these were not just normal stone ninjas. They seemed to be the elites of the elites. As he was a man at the front, as he was leading this group, the Sharingan Queen of Konoha is currently within our sights. She will not leave this place, the man said in a loud yell, as the others around him agreed. As Emiko and the others were shocked, the man's voice carried across the field, as the shouts could be heard. How did they know that you would be here? Said Inabi. I don't know, said Emiko as she pulled out her blade, as her Susanoo was still flaring around her. That is when the ground ripped apart, over to the far distance as a massive 5-tailed horse came out. The thing did not waste any time given the long distance. It started to charge a Biju bomb and launch it. As the explosion was massive as Emiko once again protected her group. As she looked around her as the place was swamp. Her Mangita Sharingan focused as it spun in her eye sockets, focusing on all the individuals around her, as there was a lot of them, a real lot of them. Meanwhile, as Naruto had met up with his group, he had this sinking feeling, as he was tapped on the shoulder by Inazaka. "You're right," as it was a friend of Naruto's, a colleague, as Naruto had knew him through Tetsumi. "Yeah, fine," said Naruto, as he continued to move, but he felt something was off. When the group arrived at the HQ, as Naruto stepped inside, there were several other individuals as they greeted him. As Naruto saw Shikaku inside as well. "I'm here," said Naruto. As Shikaku looked up towards him. "You're early," he said. "Well, I want to get this over with quick," said Naruto. "So, how is things going?" As Shikaku looked down with a frown. As Naruto noticed that frown and knew that something was off. "What's wrong?" "They have been stable. They haven't moved an inch since we set up right here. The Hyugas are able to scan a few at the front. Their vision cannot go that far without stepping into dangerous waters. That is why I need you and your special abilities to take a closer look, because something about this seems off." "What do you mean by that?" said Naruto. "I can't put my finger on it," said Shikaku. "But they know that we're here, and they're not doing a damn thing about it. Tell me, Naruto, what do you mostly know the Hidden Stone Ninjas for?" "They're wild and rushing into things," said Naruto. "Exactly. Yet they're not making a single move. That is why I want you and a small group to infiltrate the front lines. To see exactly what is going on, do not make contact. Report back immediately. As long as you get a Hyuga close enough, they'll be able to scan the area. Can you do that?" As Naruto's face gave him a flat look. "Alright, fine," said Shikaku. "I have confidence in your skills, but I just feel like there's something off." "Where's the group?" said Naruto. "I have it already ready for you," said Shikaku. Moments later, as Naruto and a few ninjas were making their way, 3 to be exact, as the Hyuga made 4, as they were the ones guarding the Hyuga. It was a girl as her Byakugan was activated the entire time, as they moved through the foliage. Naruto raised a hand, telling them to stop, as he saw a group up ahead. As Naruto's stealth skills were unmatched, training with people like Ibiki, Naruto was a master at stealth. That is why as he moved in and intercepted the group, as he was able to silence them before a single sound was made, as no one even knew. Once they were done, they moved forward, as his eyes seemed to penetrate the darkness. Something was really wrong here. As Naruto felt something was off, he looked towards the Hyuga, as she paused. "What's wrong?" said Naruto. "There is less than we thought." "What do you mean?" "There's a small amount of..." "They're moving," she said, as Naruto motioned for them to hush down, as they went behind the foliage. Several ninjas passed by, as they were doing a routine walk. "They're still there, huh?" one of the men said as Naruto listened from the darkness. "Well, they're not moving anytime soon." "Well, it's up to us to keep this charade going." Naruto's eyes snapped when he heard charade. There was a small animal in the bush near to one of the Inuzakas, as it made a noise. "Hey, what was that?" "I don't know. The man said pull out a kunai. Let's go check." Naruto vanished as he appeared behind the ninja and grabbed his mouth and slit his throat, as the other one had turned his back looking around. "Hey, did you..." as he found a kunai embedded right in his skull, ending his life before he could say a word. As the others looked around, when they finally reached where the other two were. "Hey, where did Mashi and Yoshi go?" "You know them, always running off, even in these critical moments." "Hey, where the hell are you guys?" As Naruto's eyes pulsed in front of the first man. The man turned as he pulled a kunai and stabbed into his own friend's neck, who was unprepared that his own friend attacked him like that. It caused him to gurgle as the other two behind him moved, but they found themselves grabbed by Naruto as he snapped their necks, taking them out. He pulled the high girl up to her feet. "What is going on?" he said. "The numbers. I'm afraid they're not what we expected. There's just a small amount of ninjas here. Stored seals are all over the ground. With the ninjas chakra inside, they're using to replicate that there's a lot of ninjas here." As Naruto turned back to the camp immediately, as they rushed back. Once Naruto got in, as he pushed open the tent and got inside, Shikaku saw the look on his face. "What's wrong?" said Shikaku. "We have been tricked." Before Shikaku could say anything, the radio on the table started to buzz. "Can you guys hear me?" a voice said. "Yeah, who is this?" "Conquering Squad reporting back in. I, along with Emiko and the others, have secured the castle." As Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good," said Shikaku. "What were you saying, Naruto?" "Something seems off, you're right about that. There's a small amount of ninjas here, along with seals, that replicate their chakra to make it seem that there's large forces. Send a squadron out and you should be able to wipe them out." "Wait, if that is the case, where are the large amount of ninjas?" "I don't know," said Naruto. "But Emiko and the others had the castle." "Yeah, that is bugging me even more," said Naruto. "Do you think they have moved somewhere? Or perhaps they went back to the village?" "I'll send a message back towards the north and find out what is going on." As Naruto nodded, "When will we move out towards Emiko and the others?" "I've already sent out a small dispatch team to keep things under control until we can make it out there. This small squadron that you said that was out there in the forest, I want it to be eliminated so that we can keep moving on." "I'll handle it," said Naruto. "Not alone," said Shikaku. "I can do this," said Naruto. "There's no point of sending anyone else. This was just a distraction to keep us here for some odd reason. And if I'm walking into a trap, I'm better efficient to get out of there. And we're still in the darkness," said Naruto. "And you know that I strive in the darkness." Shikaku couldn't help but agree with that, as Naruto was the best assassin that he knew. And it was a small squadron like he said. He pulled a small pocket radio as he tossed as Naruto caught it. "Radio in if there's any problem. I will get things prepared here so that we can move out after we get the message from the north to know what the hell is going on, so that we don't run into a trap." As Naruto nodded as he moved off, Shikaku sat there. As he tapped his finger on the table, he couldn't help but feel like something was off. Not with Naruto, but as he pressed the bigger radar on the table. "Castle Company, come in," he said. "Yeah? How is things going there?" "I've already dispatched a squad. It will take a while to get there. Are you guys having any problems?" "No, you were right. It was a small squadron of ninjas, and we were able to take them out quite quickly." Shikaku did not question that because there was no other ninjas or nations that could get on this radio frequency. It was only them and them alone. So he did not question that. When a few hours passed and Naruto did not return, he decided to send out a group. A 6-man group arrived. They arrived to see nothing but a bloodbath. Ninjas were dead all over. As they found Naruto in the center of the campus, he was holding a ninja by his throat. As ninja eyes were glassy and dulled over, as Naruto's Sharingan was being used. It was just supposed to be a distraction to keep you guys off our tail, so that we can eliminate Konoha big threats. Konoha big threats? What else do you know? That's all I know. I'm not high on the pay grade to know much." Naruto snapped the man's neck, knowing that he was not lying to him. As Naruto turned towards the group who stood there, as they looked towards him, they gulped a bit, but he was showing no ill intent towards them. "Did Shikaku send you?" "Yes. You were away for a while." "Yeah, because something is up," said Naruto. "Let's move." As he moved back to the camp along with the group, upon arriving there, as Naruto stepped inside. "What took you so long?" said Shikaku. "I was questioning one of the ninjas there. It turns out that this was supposed to be a decoy. Have you gotten any information back?" "No, not yet. But the team that I sent should be making their way about there right now. They will be reporting back, if anything." And also, as Shikaku pressed the radio, but there was nothing but static. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at that, "I'm sure everything is fine," said Shikaku. "We will be moving out soon." Naruto felt his gut telling him to go. that he must move immediately, but you remember what Emiko said to him, that everything was fine. And you remember what Inibi said to him, that everything will be fine. As the radio started to pop up once again. Yes, Commander. What's going on? Why? Was the communication off? Sorry. A few stone ninjas were coming up on the bank, but they calmly retreated. I think they're going for reinforcements. What should we do? Don't worry. Reinforcement will get there soon. Can I speak to Emiko? Said Naruto. Oh, yes, the voice on the other end said. As Naruto waited until he heard static. It was then that he heard Emiko. Naruto, she said. Is everything alright? He asked. Haven't you been told? Yes, everything is fine. As Naruto narrowed his eyes. Emiko, he said. What is it? As Naruto paused, Shikaku saw a strange look on Naruto's face. What's wrong? Shikaku asked. Hey, Emiko, said Naruto as his voice sounded rather calm. Yeah? What is it? She said once again. You just keep on saying my name over and over again. You remember when I was 6 years old, and I almost burned the house down, trying to cook for you. Do you remember why I was cooking that day? There was a pause on the other end, and Shikaku's gaze narrowed. That was a long time ago, Naruto. It happened so quickly that Shikaku felt a spike of nothing but death in the entire tent as it spread through. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. What? Said Emiko. It's me. Cut the bullshit. Where is my sister? Look, I don't know what you're talking about. Naruto snapped his gaze toward Shikaku. This line is the main line, correct? Yes, said Shikaku, as Naruto paused. This line was the most secure line in Konoha. There was no way the enemy could breach it, as Shikaku did not question that one bit. It was the main line that relayed all of their information back to the village. There was no way that the enemy could get on the station. Something is wrong. Naruto, calm down. Emiko, what's going on over there? I said something is wrong, said Naruto. Get the forces. We're moving now. As Shikaku tried to speak to Emiko, but she was not answering. As Naruto flapped open the tent and he vanished. Shikaku barked out orders rather quickly. As Naruto ran, he ran like his life depended on it, making his way. As Naruto popped 3 soldier pills, and he just kept on moving and he kept on moving. As his speed increased gradually as he kept on moving. The group was a distance behind him, as Shikaku had quickly gathered his forces, but Naruto was much faster. When Naruto arrived, he felt the ground trembling as he looked over the corner to see a man, a distance away, as he was clad in a red armor. The man was definitely dead, but Naruto knew that face and knew that armor. That was Han, the holder of the 5-tailed Jinchuriki. What the hell was he doing here? Another explosion went off as Naruto looked over to see as he moved. The trees were all gone, everything was gone. The only thing that left was the barren land that was burned really badly. When Naruto finally arrived, he saw there was a colossal, massive rock that was being hit repeatedly by explosives. Flashing through a set of hand signs, Naruto released an enormous ball of flames from his mouth that scattered the group as Naruto looked around to see a lot of dead stone shinobis. He also saw the group that Emiko moved with. They were all dead. And not to mention the small rendezvous group that was supposed to meet up with them and rendezvous with the team back at where he was. They're all dead as well. As Naruto saw where they were aiming as he moved towards where the slab of rock was. As Naruto looked behind the giant, almost mountain-sized, blocking pathway. As he found, Naruto's hands dropped to his side when he saw none other than Inibi, holding on to someone. Inibi, one of his eyes were shut. There was blood pouring from him like it was stabbed out. And the other one is barely open. There was 2 ninjas remaining that came with their forces as both of them kept on pumping chakra into the ground to keep up the earth rock platform. As Naruto froze as Inibi saw him. Naruto. The 2 ninjas spun around as they saw. They breathed a sigh of relief. Reinforcements. But they saw no one behind Naruto. They spoke and they shouted. Where was reinforcements? But Naruto did not care about what they were saying. All he did was look at Inabi, who was holding someone in his arms. She was not moving. As Naruto calmly walked towards Inabi, as Naruto noticed the blood, so much blood over Inabi's chest. As he looked up at Naruto with half-lit eyes, as he coughed up blood, I tried. I'm so sorry. The communication was cut as he coughed up more blood. I'm so sorry, he said. As Naruto dropped to his knees, in Inabi's hands was Emiko. As she was not moving, burn marks over her body, slashes and cuts. She tried to protect us. They were just too much. They were just too much. As Naruto did not say a single word, his eyes started to pulse as he looked toward his sister, the person that basically raised him. As his eyes kept on pulsing, it pulsed unnaturally. Inabi saw black smoke leaving Naruto's body. It was a black, wispy darkness that seemed to burn off Naruto's skin, as the ashes just seemed to burn. Like something around him was burning, but there was nothing to cause the burning sensation, so he was confused. But as he looked up, he saw Naruto's Sharingan twisting and twirling into something else. As Naruto's eyes changed, where his Sharingan stood now stood a different set of eyes. It was like a whirlpool, starting out from the center and spreading. As it was a whirlpool, basically, spreading out. As Inabi knew what that was, Naruto was able to awaken the monkey to Sharingan. Not many could do this, but it was because of the Inabi coughed up more blood. As Naruto placed a hand towards his friend, his hand shaking, he still couldn't say a word as he looked toward his sister. Tears ran from his eyes. As Inabi placed a hand on Naruto's, I'm sorry. As his hand fell, as Naruto released a blood-curdling scream that was filled with rage and death, it shocked everyone around. As his eyes could see clearly, their pulse were not there. They were dead. The two ninjas were roughly blown away as the four-tailed beast had recovered its strength. The four-tailed beast was bleeding. Yes, the tailed beast was actually wounded. One of its eyes had been torn out of its socket. One of its arms were badly slashed. Considering that thousands of ninjas were brought, as a lot of them got slaughtered, showing how much work Emiko and her group did on them, as she managed to kill a tail beast as well. But there was one remaining. With a fluctuation of his power, he fired a miniature lava ball that blew away the section of earth. As Naruto and his group was blown away, but Naruto managed to grab onto Inabi and Emiko. As he looked at their dead bodies, his eyes were pulsing with so much rage and hate. His entire body felt flushed with power as he felt something inside him open up. It was like a system of power that he never felt before. The whirlpool swirls in his eyes started to spin, almost hypnotically. As he just kept on spinning faster and faster, the black smoke on Naruto's body started to just spin out of control, until it seems like Naruto was set on fire as the black smoke rose up in the air. As Naruto crouched down, as he held on to the bodies of his sister and Inabi. Over to the side, one of the generals were left. What's this? As he turned towards someone that was high up with him. This wasn't a part of a deal. We were told that we could have the Sharingan Queen of Konoha. Were we to kill him as well? The other man asked, as they were told far enough that Naruto would not hear what they were saying. No, I don't think this was a part of a deal. Our objective here is done. But that little bitch killed a lot of our men. Blow them to pieces! Shouted the man as he looked towards the four tails, who started gathering up another Bijo bomb. A larger one this time. The two ninjas were exhausted as they waited for death as they could not move fast enough. Reinforcement had yet to arrive, and they would surely die. As Naruto watches the Bijou bomb was charging, as it was launched, boom! The explosion was massive. It shredded the entire area, but all the black smoke was sucked into something. Damn it, another one. One of these stone ninjas shouted, but he was right, it was another one, but this one is completely different. Standing there was a Susanoo, but this one was different entirely. It was black. Pitch black to be exact. Muscles and tendons and flesh grew. The eyes of Susanoo was red, as it seems like blood was pouring from them, as red markings went down the cheek of the Susanoo. It had a look on its face. Well, on one of its faces. A smile that seemed to be just creepy. On the left side of its face there was another face. A face of sadness. The eyes were turned down, so you could not see the red eyes. Lip was in a frown. On the right side there was another face. A face of rage. And on the back, it was blank. It was a face, but the face was blank. The only things that could be seen was the eyes. Those red glowing eyes. A helmet was over all of those faces that showed them perfectly as it came around. Spikes was on top of the helmet. As the half body of the Susanoo came out of the ground, the thing then screeched. A blood-curdling screech that chilled everyone's heart. The ninja stepped back as Naruto's eyes were looking at the ground. He looked down towards Inabi and his sister before his gaze rose back up, as there was this look on his face that didn't make him look entirely human anymore, as Naruto focused on the tail beast, and then hell break loose. Skipping back to reality at the present time. What? Said Fukaku. You heard me, said Naruto, as he had just had his encounter with the masked man that was claiming Mother Uchiha. Said Fukaku. That is exactly what he said, said Naruto, as he looked towards the man, as his sister was asleep. To think that she was such a lightweight, up until this day, one drink and she was out like a knight. But that wasn't the concern here. The concern that Fukaku was having was this man that was claiming to be Madara Uchiha. Madara, who was been dead for a long time now, and someone was claiming to be him. And not to mention the person had the Sharingan. This would just be bad on his clan image. It was already bad enough. What did he say to you? He wanted me to join him. Join him to do what? To fix the world, said Naruto. And what exactly does that mean? Asked Fukaku. How should I know? When mad people rant about something crazy, you should not listen to them. You should just put them down. Where is he now? I'm not sure. He vanished before I could do anything. But he will show himself again, and I will kill him. Make sure you do, said Fukaku, if he do show himself. The clan image is at stake here. If this mass Uchiha runs around, call himself Madara doing all sorts of things, it will just make things detrimental for the clan image, more than before. I'll find him, said Naruto as he got to his feet, and I'll kill him. As Naruto turned and he started to walk away. Wait. As Naruto paused. What is it now? My son. What's about him? Said Naruto. Itachi will be graduating soon. We both know that his abilities far surpass any other genin of this graduation year. So, which team he will go on will just be holding him back. And, said Naruto, I need your help. How so? You're a better teacher than me, Naruto. I can admit that. You've shown it several times in the past before. I know you didn't want to teach him anything too dangerous yet because he was still a kid. But now is the time. What are you saying? I want you to take on Itachi as an apprentice. I've heard about what the Hokage has done, making you take some time off. While I agree with his motives, seeing that you haven't gotten the time to rest after all this time. As Naruto said nothing at that. Once Itachi is fully graduated, you will be able to take him as an apprentice, and in doing so you can go on your missions. But at first something on Itachi's level until you bring him up to proper standards, which I know will not take long. After all, we both know how fast you work. He already hears a lot about you, and not to mention, he respects you so he would not question your judgment. So can you do this? Take him on as your apprentice. I'm not looking for a student. I know you're not. But I'm asking you this favor. Can you do this for my son? He asks. It wouldn't be too long. I doubt Itachi will remain at Chunin for long once he takes the exams. We both know that he's a prodigy, just like you. I just want him to be ready for anything this world has to throw at him. Given how tense things are right now, I doubt things will not escalate in the future. As Naruto sat back down as he went quiet, as he seemed to be thinking it over, as Fukaku waited for an answer, a thought then popped in Naruto's head, a memory of a sorts. As he was on the ground panting, as he looked up towards Emiko. Now that you're a ninja, she said, looking down towards him. I'm gonna be busting your ass for you to work harder. So, you up to the challenge? Hell yeah, said Naruto, as he remembered himself smiling. Naruto looked back up towards Fukaku. I'll do it. As the man had a small smile at that, but he made it vanish quickly. Have you spoken to the Hokage about this? You both know that man and his little tricks. He will understand. Itachi is my son and a proud member of the Uchiha clan. Trust me, he will understand. As Naruto got to his feet, as he started to walk away. Once I do this and it's over, I hope you know that you owe me, so I can do what I want on my missions, and take my dangerous mission without Minato interrupting me anymore. I'll talk to him, said Fukaku, if that is what you want, but there are several others that will try to speak to you to take you out of that feel. I know, said Naruto, but you owe me. I will. Oh, and thank you. As Naruto walked away, Fukaku would have taken his son on his own personal training, but he was too busy with the clan right now. Things were too hectic. And Naruto barely associated himself with the clan. Yes, he was there for the important things, but for most other things he was not. He was always busy or just wanted to be left alone. So this would be good. And not to mention Itachi already respected Naruto whole deal. So he had nothing to worry about. The students and the sensei at the academy would just hold Itachi back, as they would be a waste of time. And Naruto was the only reason why Itachi hadn't graduated yet, as he was telling Mikato that he was best at Itachi. Be a kid. For now, after all, once he was thrust into the dangerous world, well, things will get dangerous. He had friends, other kids around his age. Let him be a kid. As she had agreed with that, as she wanted her son to be happy, despite everything. Time skip. Kushina Uzumaki was dressed in a purple dress, as she stood on the balcony of the Namikaze Manor. As she looked over, the night had been wonderful. Everyone had wished her a happy birthday, and they had sung her a song. Minato had to go back to the office after a while though, as some important things had been popping up, and he had to return to the office. She had a wonderful night, yet he wasn't there. She told him that she would kill him if he missed her birthday, but he really missed it. She thought they could be friends. As much as she didn't want to say it, she still cared for him, as much as he hurt her in the past. She had tried to be there, but he had shown several times that he didn't want that. Perhaps it was time that she just left him alone, as he didn't bother to show up to her birthday, or just wish her a happy birthday. It's not like she wanted a gift or anything, just say happy birthday. That was all that she wanted, but he didn't even show his face. As she turned away from the balcony, she was about to head inside, when she felt something appear. on the ledge. She did not turn as she could already tell who it was. As he walked up towards her, she felt him brush her hair back. She did not move as she just stood there, as she did not say a single word. She felt him place something around her neck, as it was a bit cold as it rested on her chest. As he clicked it on, it was a necklace. It sparkled the same color of her eyes. The gem was beautiful, rested in a golden locket ring that wrapped around her neck. She turned towards him as he backed away, looking out the balcony. "Sorry," said Naruto, as she raised her fist, but she didn't place it back down. "You know, you could punch me if you want. I did miss your birthday. Yeah, and I want to. But what I want is an explanation. Why weren't you here?" "I won't lie to you. I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" she asked. "I don't know," he said once again. She turned as she stepped forward as she grabbed him by the shirt, rather roughly, forced him to look at her, as he did not move or made a notion that he wanted to move. "Stop doing this to yourself. You were the one that tried to cheer up Kakashi when he lost both Ren and Obito. Despite him still being depressed, he's much better off after you've been there for him. You remember what you said to him? Living must continue to live for the ones that they have lost." As Naruto still looked at her, but she didn't see it in his eyes, like he was actually listening, as she released his collar and dropped her hands to her side. "Why did you even come?" she said. "You asked me to," said Naruto. "Well, I don't want you to come," she said. "Not anymore. I hate to see you put yourself in this state. I hate how miserable you are. And I hate myself even more because I can't do anything to stop it. I'm not your responsibility anymore." "I know you're not," she shouted. "But you're wasting yourself away, going on like life is nothing, not enjoying yourself, not doing anything but going on missions, sinking yourself into work like nothing else matters. Have you really given up? Have you really have nothing else to live for?" As he couldn't answer her question, "It was not your fault," she shouted at him. "It was not your fault." She was trying to make him understand that everyone was trying to. She was angry. His sister had told her about the Uchihas and their bond, as Naruto had a bond with Emiko, that he had grown attached to her when he was younger, and the blame that he put on himself was something that he could never truly forget. Despite everything, he was still holding on to that blame, that he was the reason why Emiko was no longer here, because certain situations led down to that path where he could have been there to do something, but he was not. And he blamed himself, and even now he still blamed himself, and that was never gonna fix anything. She reached behind her as she removed the necklace. As Naruto narrowed his eyes, she grabbed his hand and placed it back in his palm. As she looked him right in the eyes, as her tears glistened down her face. "If you've completely given up, if you don't care about a single thing anymore, then I don't think that we can be friends anymore. I don't think that we can try to be friends as much as we've tried so hard. Everyone was right. It's time I fully move on. And that means moving on without you," she said, as her tears fell down her cheeks. "So, I'm giving you a choice. If you want to go, and go in this lifestyle, this routine of yours where you self-load, and continuously blame yourself and not care about anything around you, walk away, and never come back. Or, place that necklace back around my neck. Show me that you can at least continue living and moving on. What Emiko would have wanted for you, what we all want for you." She waited for him to do something, but he did not move. After a while, he turned his back, Her hands dropped to her side. As Naruto jumped off the balcony and he was gone, Kushina turned as she bit her lips to stifle away the tears that were threatening to pool down from her eyes as she stepped inside. The moment she did, something happened. A distortion in the ear. Kushina Uzumaki. The dark voice in her house said, "Who the hell are you?" For now that is not important. But we really should talk. Meanwhile, with Naruto as he was currently hopping from building to building, but he suddenly came to a stop. As he glanced towards Namikaze Manor, she was right. He had turned out worse than Kakashi. He was trying to help Kakashi back then, when he had lost everything. Naruto had respected the White Fang, and despite what everyone said, Naruto would do the same. He would jeopardize the mission anytime to save the ones that he loved. So he did not care what anyone else said, as he always told Kakashi that his father was a hero, and there was nothing else to call him but a hero. Person that gave their life for everything. As Naruto was angry that the man chose to commit suicide because of all the backlash of the people, as that had made Naruto quite angry. So he had tried to help Kakashi out of his funk. But Kakashi went and lost Obito and Ren as well, and that put him through another set of pain that Naruto never truly understood until he lost Emiko. Because that pit in his stomach, his mind was convincing him to go back, telling him to rendezvous the groups. The moment that he found out that it was a trap, the moment that he had placed the guy on the Sharingan but he did not, he waited. If he had brought the groups just in time, if he had moved with them, if he had went himself, at full speed he would have arrived there before anything happened. And with him standing at Emiko's side, he was sure, 100% sure that he could hold off all the enemies until reinforcements arrived, but no, he did not. He had his doubts. He knew that something was off, but yet, he decided not to listen to his damn stomach. And right now his stomach was telling him to go back to Kushina, that she did not deserve to suffer because he was. He had decided to let her go. At first she didn't want to leave him, because she knew that he was suffering. So he had made it abundantly clear that they were no longer dating. By hurting her, not physically though, but mentally. Showing her that they were not dating anymore. Yes, he was an asshole for what he did, but it had made her move on. She had attacked him and gave him the beating of his life. She was so angry, but despite that she still cared for him. After all that he did, and yet he was making her suffer with his choice. Why should she have to suffer, as his gut was telling him to go back? As Naruto decided to make his way back towards the house, he didn't have to mean it, but at least he could make her feel better. As he arrived at a building near to the manor, that is when he heard cracking of a glass, as something broke, as Naruto saw a figure leap, as he saw a fireball attack rushing through the house, as Naruto's Sharingan sprang to life as he dashed towards the house. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to make some more, then do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications he posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.